Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, all that other good stuff. Love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Henry Morita on the line. He's co-founder and CEO over at Pure Azul Beverages, who recently launched Azulana RTD Sparkling Tequila. Henry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam, for having me today.
Oh, man, so I'm looking at this big, beautiful site and these big, beautiful bottles, and I'm getting thirsty. So just to tell you, I can't wait to get into what you're doing over at Azulana RTD Sparkling Tequila. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career?
So I grew up in Los Angeles, California, in a small town called Valencia at the time. It's a much bigger area now, but went to school at Northridge and then spent 25 years of my career at Nestle, doing everything from operations, supply chain, and mostly in the area of their international businesses. And that's where I really got a solid understanding of how international business works and obviously fell in love with tequila.
Man, that's an awesome story, and I love it because to go from concept to like the finish line, you spent all these years working for Nestle, learning the business, that's a lot of years, and to really perfect your craft. That being said, you managed to do something that I think a lot of people out there dream of doing. So they have this concept, they're very, detailed and accomplished in their careers, and it doesn't have to be food, by the way, it could be anything. And you had a concept, you had an idea, and you took it and you made it into a reality. So we were joking a moment ago on the pre-show. I'm like, so in the promo, we're going to showcase these big, beautiful bottles that you have here. And you're like, yeah, that's probably it. We should show that. And then we jokingly said, that's what you want to always lead with is the product. So that being said, what kind of advice would you give to that entrepreneur that's still out there, maybe sitting on the sidelines and has this concept and just hasn't gone to that next step of making it reality? What kind of advice would you give to that person that's thinking that right now?
I think the best advice I can give an individual who's trying to or considering going into the entrepreneurial space is use your resources that you have around you and take that leap of faith that you have the right network that can support you in getting to the end zone or across the finish line. And it's not going to be a journey that you can do by yourself. It takes a village, to be honest with you. And it's relying on those folks that are around you that really support you and have that knowledge and insight to be able to really get that product or that service that you want to create to fruition.
Man, that's awesome. And quite literally, it does take a village to raise a tequila. So speaking of tequila, let's just get right into the product. So I know you just launched it, Azulana RTD Sparkling Tequila. Let's talk a little bit more about it. So what's the concept around this?
So about 3.5 years ago, I was sitting with some other colleagues of mine realizing that there was a great opportunity to bring products in from Mexico. As they've got a great manufacturing sector down there, as well as just an amazing network of ingredients and recipes. And of course, the one thing for us was the agave plant is something that is just amazing, and it obviously is the root of tequila and mezcal, as well as agave nectar. And during that time was when White Claw just came out with their spiked seltzer. And we realized that there's a space in the market for a tequila-based seltzer, but we wanted to create something that was going to be authentic and really pays tribute to the heritage of the agave plant and those farmers in the region of tequila itself. So what we did was we created this sparkling beverage that was, low in alcohol content. It's the same as a beer. At the same time, having that pure tequila product in itself, as well as mixing it with a couple of other natural ingredients like sea salt, natural flavors, and carbonated water. and we launched it earlier this past August.
Man, what an amazing story. And it blows my mind that is such a just a tequila plant, like that whole market, like what you just mentioned in terms of the ecosystem. It blows my mind like how much more there is left to explore. Like in my mind, like obviously I'm a little bit younger compared to some of our audience, so like I don't remember really ever not having a ultra premium like market in terms of tequila for my drinking age. So like a Patron or things like that, like that's brand new. Once upon a time, tequila, I mean, before John Paul DeJoria basically reinvented that market with Patron, like that was just, tequila was like considered, not a premium beverage like a whiskey or anything like that. That market didn't even exist. So what I see you doing is I'm like, man, I think of the tequila panel. There's just so much opportunity here, and you're doing the exact same thing, but of course on that other spectrum of the things to make it more like in the sparkling realm. It's not a hard tequila. You lower the alcohol content a little bit, like all these things you're saying, so that now it can be enjoyed in more of just a sipping manner. And when I saw that, I'm like, man, have I even had a sparkling tequila before? I don't know that I have, and I'm thinking, that'll be refreshing, huh? So I like just like a cold beer, but a sparkling tequila, I'm in.
Absolutely. So, I think one of the things you just nailed on was the fact that tequila in itself has that negative connotation for a lot of folks as you think back to your college days or other experience you may have. And we wanted to bring back what you just mentioned, where people can enjoy tequila for what it really is, because tequila is such a natural and artisan type product spirit that's out there, similar to how wine is, as you have to nurture the plant, the agave plant, just like you do the grape plant.
Yeah, and speaking of, so I still remember the first time I didn't really realize that tequila was like an artisan. Like I didn't know anything about that, but I remember being in Mexico once at this little region, a little area called Sahuayo, and it's like in the region of the whole tequila region, and I saw, and there was these amazing like sipping tequila. So people they didn't even drink beer. I remember I was there for like a New Year's or something, some party or something, and I remember bringing like some beer, and everybody looked at me like I was weird, and I'm like, what? And they're like, we don't drink beer, we drink tequila. And I'm like, wait a minute, you sip tequila? Like, who does that? Like, that's gross, because I'm thinking like, our shots of tequila, right? I'm thinking my college days, I'm thinking things like that, and I'm like, you sip tequila? And I'll tell you, they had the sipping tequilas and the other things that were made locally and this and that for their market of what they sipped. It was delicious. I'd never had anything like it. So when you say that, I'm like, man, what else is there in this to discover? So I'm excited about this. So Henry, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on the product, on Azulana RTD Sparkling Tequila, I mean, what's the best way for them to get that?
Sure. I think the best way is go to the website, which is azulana.life, or our Instagram page, which is @Azulana Tequila. And they can find out all about our product itself. And, of course, there's a section for information where you can actually reach us if you have any other questions.
Man, that's awesome. Well, hey, Henry, thanks for coming on the show. Really enjoyed our time here today together, and really a big fan of what you're doing, not just in the tequila market, but as an entrepreneur, and the idea that you took that idea, you had an idea, you took it, you made it happen. Now you have these big, beautiful cans of Azulana to show and to make people happy. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, share this with your friends and family. I mean, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Henry, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Adam.